Abuse VQ, stay locked in.
All right, squad, got a little overzealous. Wasn't even thinking about recording, but got the screws out that we need to get the right fairing off somewhat so we can get to the radiator cap. So when it's time to refill, we can do that. We got to get the bike off the rear stand, get it down, get it level. But once we're here, my next joint is to take off this lower fairing belly panel. And then that'll give me access to this 8mm bolt right here with more than enough clearance to have it drain. Let's go. And you already know, squad. So we got the engine ice coolant. We're gonna replace that. I know we got this like green Motorex coolant in there. I don't know if that's like the 5.0 or the 3.0 or whichever, but long and the short, that's why we're swapping it out. Just so we know we'll be good come next season. Everything will be straight. And, you know, that's pretty much everything we need. And let's get the distilled water. We need that. 1 second. All right, squad, so we're already in it. This right here is going to be your drain bolt. If y'all can see that right here, this bolt that I'm already unscrewing, that is a 8mm bolt. That's your drain bolt for your coolant. So we are going to honestly pop the top for our coolant up here so the reservoir can drain somewhat first, and then we'll pop the radiator cap and let the coolant drain out of that. So let's get this bolt loose and let that start draining, which again, it's this one right here. Oops. Yeah. And there goes the coolant. Let me get my stuff ready, but you see the drips. So let's drain bolt off. That's a 8mm with the extension. I was able to take it off. That came from right here. As you see the coolant starting to drip. Now let's turn this coolant cap, which I have my hand on, and see if that'll increase the flow as we introduce a little air into the system. Turn, yep, there we go. And let's, yep, the green stuff. The green stuff. Let's get it up out of here. Y'all see where we going. Let's go. Alright, so next plan of movement, team. We got the majority of the old coolant out. We got it out the reservoir. We got it out the radiator. The radiator cap is loose and off, as you can see. So now we're going to use the distilled water to pour that into the radiator and start to flush the system. Hopefully we'll see how much it takes, but we'll just fill the radiator up to the top, won't fill the reservoir, and then we'll start the bike, run it, and then we'll pull the drain plug and let that drain, and just kind of do that until the water comes out clear and we know that we're good for the most part. Let's pour that water and get it going. Let's go. All right, team, so we got the radiator filled pretty much to the top. Now what we are going to do is start the bike up and let it run for a couple of seconds. Once we let it run, probably be able to, I guess, let the engine get a couple of revelations, and that should start getting some of the old coolant out, and we should be good. So let's start it up. distilled water get in the engine block and start to mix with the old coolant. So now we can drain that out and get all of the old coolant out before we put the engine ice in. Alright, squad, now that we got the bike up to operating temperature, we're gonna let it cool down. The fan should kick in soon, but this should be enough at the midpoint operating temperature to have everything circulate. But we're just gonna give it a few more minutes and let it run. Then we're gonna turn it off, let it cool down, and then we'll drain the distilled water. Let's go. All right, team, so that's what I wanted. I wanted the fans to come on, so now you know the thermostat has opened and everything is circulating. So I'm just gonna let it run a little bit more now until the fans shut off. That should be good circulation, knowing that everything mixed, and let the bike cool down. Give it about 20, 30 minutes to cool down, and then we'll drain and see how we're looking. Team, so I gave it 20, 30 minutes, and it's the first flush for me. And you could clearly see it still got a nice green tint to it. So we're probably gonna have to come back and use the next bottle of the distilled water just to flush it out. We dropped the drain plug over here. So once this drains almost all the way out, we'll come back, fill the radiator up again, let it run until the fans turn on. That should get the majority of the water in there. So now that can, again, the distilled water can dilute the rest of the coolant that's in the system to get it out. And then we should be good to go after this flush, squad, and put the new coolant in, the engine ice. Let's go. All right, team, forgot to record it, but you see bottle's empty. We're on to the second bottle. Just refilled the radiator and actually used the rest of the water in this bottle to run just straight water with the filler cap or the drain bolt down here out, and just run some water straight through that to clean out the radiator of any of the residual green coolant that was in there. So now we're just gonna let the bike run and let this get up to the 4 bar on the right, which is your coolant. That's gonna be your operating temperature or your coolant temp, and we'll let that get up, let the fans open up, and then let it cool down and see what's up, team. And now after the second flush, team, I think we good, because this is looking completely clear, and that's like taking the drain bolt off and just letting it drain. So we'll see what it looks like, and just let it drain. Pretty much let it drain all the way down. So let's go. All right, so now I'm gonna take the bike off the stand. Gonna move the pan. We should be good to put the drain plug back on, and then get ready to slowly fill with the engine ice. Because now again, even the drips and the drops is coming out completely clear. And just get it off the rear stand, and we'll get it on the kickstand, and then we'll motivate from there and fill it up slowly and see what we get from there, team. Let's go. All right, squad, so now we got the bike off the rear stand, we got it on the regular kickstand. We're gonna take our time and fill with the engine ice nice and slowly. Just so we don't overfill. We don't want to introduce too much air into the system. And we're going to wait until last to fill our reservoir, because that's bone dry right now. But we'll just come in and fill the radiator regular and see what we get. Let's go. Okay, team, so we did a slow pour. This is where we're at right now, with the engine ice. See what we got. See if we can get in there. You can see, whoa, wow. We got a little bit. It's like almost all the way to the top, right there below the neck. I might put in maybe a few drops more and see what we look like if I lean the bike up to the right. You know what I mean? Or technically looking at it now, lean it to the left. Like lean the bike up to the left. and see if that'll help. I guess as far as even out the flow of the coolant, but we'll see what's up. Let's go. All right, team. So kind of stood the bike up straight. Really didn't see too much change within the radiator. So now what I'm gonna do is come through. We put the engine ice in the radiator only. Again, everything was coming out from the drain plug clear. So now we're just gonna start the bike and let it run until it reaches somewhat of that operating temp. And then from here, we'll see what we look like if we need to add a little bit more to the radiator, but we're gonna let it run until it reaches operating temp and then cool down and see how we look, squad. All right, squad, so everything seems to line up. I got the fluid in the reservoir, the engine ice, everything lined up. Everything is looking good. Didn't seem like there was too much air or anything in the system. Didn't see too many bubbles. I let it sit, let it cool down. We're looking straight, team. So what I'm gonna probably do now is just reverse order, put the bike back together, and from there, probably just take it for a quick ride and just make sure it doesn't overheat, let it run, and see how we're going from there. Let's go. All right, team, we are back together. Everything is locked in, all bolts in, all push tabs where you need those is in. Everything is lined up. Everything is solid. We looking wavy. And yeah, we back together. Now, next thing, just to take it out, squad. About to switch gears and take it on a little night ride around the cul-de-sac and just make sure everything is wavy. Let's do it.